Where do you consume your podcasts? Is it YouTube? Do you watch them? Do you let the video play and you listen to the audio in the back? Do you only listen to audio? Apple, Spotify, Acast, all different types of platforms out there. Or are you old school? You listen to the radio. You got the antenna up? Hey, that's cool too. My point is, this whole podcasting thing, the landscape is confusing right now. In fact, Amazon just restructured Wondery. It's a podcast company that they acquired a few years back. And they ended up laying off hundreds of people. And this is really a tragedy for audio storytellers and sound designers and everybody who contributes to that medium. And it's left so many people in this industry wondering, where is audio storytelling going? Is it shrinking? Is it going away? And how can we keep this artistic integrity within this medium that we know has sourced so much of the widespread podcasting that we see today? So this is a perfect episode for me to share this conversation that I had with Julie Shapiro. If you don't know Julie, this is a perfect opportunity to be introduced to her. She's been instrumental in shaping modern podcasting as we know it. She served as a longtime executive producer for Radiotopia by PRX, where she oversaw the launch of countless shows you've probably heard of. Julie and I got really specific about a relatively recent project she's been working on called Flux. All the information about it is in the description here. But this is so cool because I was talking earlier about where is audio storytelling going? Well, here's the thing. It's not just for audio storytelling. For you visual storytellers, for you YouTubers, you don't just have to be in audio to use audio as a way to spark your story in your medium. And Flux is a great place to start, and that's why this conversation was so relevant. And as a short-form storyteller myself and someone creating video content on YouTube, that's why this conversation with Julie was so relevant for me. And I hope if this applies to you, it is for you as well. All right, enjoy. For Flux, I'm looking at the site, and the first thing I noticed was some of the still images, some of the art. In your ideal world, how would I consume this to really get the full thrust of what's happening here?
Well, the interesting thing, maybe, is that Audio Flux is, in one sentence, it's a home for innovative short-form audio and bold storytelling. It's a participatory project that we invite people to make short works, 3 minutes exactly, inspired by a set of prompts. And for each circuit, we work with a different creative partner to make the prompts. So every time there's a new set of prompts, a new sort of suite of inspiration. So my partner in Audio Flux, John Delore, and I, we identify a creative partner each time, and we make up a set of rules, 3 or 4 rules, including the pieces have to be 3 minutes. And we started just by commissioning, and then we threw it open. So now there's an open call each time. And anyone can participate. So we set the rules, we give you 6 weeks, and you are free to make whatever sort of story you're inspired to make based on the prompts. And so we've done 5 circuits so far. We're about to debut our 5th circuit. And you said how to experience it. Well, one of the ways to experience Audio Flux is live in these live listening event settings where we play the pieces. When the producers can be there, they're there in the room as well. And the whole point is to build connection and community and culture through an audio project where you can also hone your production skills and experiment with storytelling and try different things and maybe try making something for the first time. Or if you're a seasoned veteran, make something you've always wanted to make, but you can't in your day-to-day job. So it's an exercise, it's an adventure, it's a laboratory. It can be all of these things, and it is different things to different people. I just got an email today from someone who said, remember that piece I made for Circuit 3 and you wondered if there was a bigger story there? Well, it's going out on NPR as an 8-minute story and on transom.org as a 20-minute story. It started as a 3-minute story with us. So this is really like a workshop-y experience for some people that can try things out and expand on them afterward. It's all these things. It's an art project. It's a little bit of it's like love letter to creative audio storytelling, a tiny bit of a fuck you to the industry that seems to not care about imagination and innovation anymore. With a smile, an invitation to also participate to everyone.
While you're doing this, by the way, I'm going to actually share a visual just so we capture it on camera. You say you select that creative partner. Is it just for the prompt? Are they part of the whole process? Take me there in that selection process.
The creative partner is there at the beginning to help us make make the scaffolding of each circuit, like what are the prompts people will respond to. We also hope to tap into their community and just bring a different artistic practice into our mix and learn and kind of be inspired by what other people are making and are passionate about. So for Circuit 1, our wonderful creative partner was Wendy McNaughton, who's an incredible graphic journalist, illustrator, writer, human being. And these 3 images were unpublished illustrations from her own personal archive that we used as starting points for stories. You could pick one and go from there. And then we had a theme that had to do with a book that she had written after spending time in a hospice center, a Zen hospice center in the Bay Area. She wrote a book called How to Say Goodbye. So we pulled a theme. Every circuit has a theme.
Right.
And the theme was from her book. And then the main prompt was to choose one of these images and go from there.
Okay, so let me go to Circuit 3. You have the live experience. So if someone goes to see this live, I can imagine this experience being, I'm assuming, almost like, like a film festival or something where it's like this kind of communal thing. But I do think it is interesting, even on the site, that you can experience it here, and you've archived this really beautifully with understanding the rules. You've went through that, right? It's 3 minutes long, it's short form, it has to feature all these things. But then are each one of these different artists and collaborations? Like if I click in here, we could pick one of them. Let's say OJ the Scaredy Cat, if that's okay. I don't know why that stuck out to me because it's just hilarious.
Why not?
And I click, okay, so tell me what I'm seeing here. Is this particular artist?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me back up. So our partner for Circuit 3 was this incredible pet portrait artist named Ben Lenovitz. The prompts were based on Ben's practice. You had to include the color blue somewhere in your story because most of his backgrounds are blue. Okay. And the sound prompt was to have a moment of all caps emphasis. So something sonically in your piece that you could point to as being all caps, because he always writes his names in all caps. And then the main prompt was you had to have a pet that was a protagonist or an antagonist. So these were basically animal stories from people's lives. And they're gorgeous. We got all kinds of animals. We got all kinds of stories. It was really, really successful. So we ended up commissioning 4 pieces, which we do every circuit. And then we also had an open call, and we selected our first 4 ever winners from the open call. And then to make things even more magical, Ben created new portraits in response to the winning pieces and the commission pieces. So what you see there are all original Ben Lenovitz pieces based on the stories that people made.
But this is where, outside of being there live, when I've listened to several of these, there's sound design, there's ambient sound. How does that work? Are they bringing in multidisciplinary contributions to this as well?
It's really different one to the next. And I think the prompts appeal to people differently. Some of it's about timing. For this particular one, if you look in the 8, there's one, a cat called Magnus. And Magnus had actually died about a month before the call out went out. And Jasmine realized that she was in such grieving. She had the cat for so long that it was perfect timing to make a piece about Magnus and her family, her new family. And so she might not have been inspired to do Circuit 4 when it came out, but when Circuit 3 came out, it was perfect. And, it was beautiful. And we played it. And I should say at the live event, we played the pieces, and then Ben came on stage and handed people their portraits. It was actually very, very touching, and it was really a wonderful live show. We are making a podcast too. That's important to me to say, that it's going to be, all of these pieces will be out there one at a time in a very short podcast that's really just about a burst of creative audio experience each time.
The reason why I connect with Audio Flux is I'm a short form storyteller. I love the short form because of the limitation. I love the freedom that you get from the limitation and the time constraint. For me, I remember I told a story recently about kind of going back to Blockbuster, and it had some nostalgic tones to it, but the whole point of it, at least the discovery, was I liked that there were walls and limitations for what I could get. In fact, that the fact that I have 6 streaming services and I'm just watching trailers and previews with my wife and we never actually get to a show. There's trailer watchers. That's all they do. They don't actually watch shows because we're so busy. It's actually the optionality that's the problem. And so going to this short form, do you love short form storytelling as well? Or did it just happen to be with like AudioFlux that was the best way to get it off the ground?
My deep belief is that this always works. When you invite people to get creative and give them some parameters and low stakes environment or arena to do it in, people respond and are grateful. So I knew it always works. 3 minutes is like a pop song. It's like a perfect amount where you can really do a lot in 3 minutes. We have stories about climate. We have stories about death. We have stories about politics. We have stories. I mean, there's a lot of art projects, but like there is real gritty storytelling in here as well. You can do so much in 3 minutes, and yet shouldn't be daunting for anyone who's trying it for the first time. So for me, the 3 minutes is a sweet spot, because there's also the other end, the experience. If you're, listening to a bunch and you don't like one, well, it's going to be over pretty quickly. And you can experience a bunch at once because they're only 3 minutes, and that makes it very fun to think about the prompts and how they play out. It's great for live events because we can we can play 8 pieces in a live event and feature the work of 8 different producers while we're doing that. So but I will say, in this talk I'm about to give, I have this whole little disclaimer. I'm not anti-long form at all. I love a series. I love a long documentary. I love a long, slow composition, a long road trip, a long flight to somewhere. I'm not anti-long. It's just that this form offers so many ways to experience audio that I just think it's a great vessel. It is a vessel for people to come to audio. And now, especially when podcasting is largely conversations between people, to understand that there is a storytelling element that it doesn't have to be at the levels. I mean, if you can make stories at the levels of the great storytellers, the heavyweights and the Radiolabs and this, all the power to you, but not everyone can. And yet there's a way to be involved and to emulate or pay homage to all of the things that have inspired you, and give yourself credit for understanding what your own creative desires and needs are. Here's a place to kind of play with them. Can I show you one more thing? We actually made a record of the first 2 circuits.
That's amazing.
Because they're 3 minutes, so 18 minutes, six aside.
Goes back to the record
circuits
store.
1 and 2, exactly. And we just put some obscure graphics on the front and back that have no rhyme or reason, because it's a little bit the Audio Flux way. And John designed a beautiful insert, like you would with records, that has all of the transcripts and.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So this is also us doing things we love and believe in ourselves, and that other people are really chiming in and participating with.
If there's a digital way to click in and buy those records as well at some point, for anybody that can't, let me know, because I know my wife she's add to our vinyl, and I would love to listen to it as well.
Thank you.
No, it's beautiful.
It's cool to hear these little stories on the tiny bit of crackle and the vinyl way. It's gorgeous. It's really cool.
I started off with a crackle on my mic. I was just trying to add to the mise en scène. I always think that there's a story that you remember, whether it's a story that your mom or dad told you, or your grandparent, whatever, read you a fairy tale. There was a video version series of Aesop's Fable with Jack Nicholson. He was narrating, and it was how the rhinoceros got his skin or something. And and it was just still images from an illustrated book. And I just remember being completely entranced by this. Do you have a story or a song?
The moment from childhood is a song called, I think it was called The Little Red Wagon. I love my wagon, my little red wagon. And the tragedy was, speaking of vinyl, we had the record of it that got left in the car and melted, and then the record was gone. And I remember it being a very tragic thing for young Julie to not have that record to listen to anymore. And then, of course, people ask me all the time, what's at the top of your list, your favorites? And I just finished the Division Street Revisited season 1. I think they're only doing one season, a 7-episode podcast, and I thought it was exquisite storytelling and beautifully made. And it's taking the old Studs Terkel book, Division Street America, and tracking down relatives of people who he talked to in Chicago. And it's just, they do it in such a generous and tender and interesting and excellent journalism type of way. And each episode's surprising and does something a little different.
As a fan of the audio form and as an audio storyteller myself, it's great and a privilege talking to you, just because I do think, when I think about hope for moving this form forward, I always look to artists who have reverence for the form, who have an appreciation for the artistry and the integrity of what we're creating for the purposes of creation, for community, for connection, and for the deeper, for me, the sort of soul questions that we all ask. This fills a part of that. From everything you've done, Radiotopia, Ear Hustle, and even Third Coast, and now with Audio Flux, throughout all the other projects too, you've really been an ambassador for that. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate your work outside of talking to you now.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate the long view that you bring to sort of what you're describing about my work, and it has felt of a piece, and that is something I feel really proud about and very invested in continuing with. Can I just mention that our next circuit will be coming up in August?
Yes.
So anyone who's listening, perfect example, maybe you're already an audio producer, please consider participating. Maybe you never have made anything in audio. This could be a wonderful first chance for you.
To make the submission when everything's ready, can they just go to audioflux.org to do this? Is that correct? And they'll have all the process?
We will point you right toward it. Same thing, 3 minutes. There'll be 3 or 4 rules to follow and a set of prompts to inspire you and to send you off in a direction. You get about 6 weeks until the deadline. Everyone, 80% of the submissions come in the last 24 hours. We get that. I know it. People love a deadline. But you do have 6 weeks, and you can send it in at any point along.
I'll just say it first. Send it early, folks.
Yeah, send it early.
I'll be the bad guy. Send it early.
Thank you. No, it's really fun. It's free to participate. You might win some money. You might win some audio glory. Whether you do or not, you're part of a community, a growing community of people who are interested and care and curious, and it's fun. It's like it's a little burst of joy for audio folks everywhere.